Hello my friends and welcome to today's video. I hope the day is treating you kindly, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a speed build. So we're going to be making a street market. I have this awkward area that's off the Crescent Moon Lake and I wasn't too sure what to do with it. It's a bit of an awkward long space. I don't really think a villager house or one of the shops would fit very nicely here. So I decided maybe to try out a street market, and so I'm sharing that process with you. I've started by putting down some custom designs on the ground before I put down the stalls. I did want to use some in-game pathing, but I'm going to be using it sparingly because I really wanted to use this sort of worn out brick. I want my island to feel like it's been around for a very long time and we've just started inhabiting it, and I wanted this area to have some brick that looks like it's been worn away from being walked over for many years or so. So I went in with the center tile of my brick pattern first, and then I'm going to be putting in the end pieces and the little extra tiles that it comes with. I'll leave all the codes that I've used in the description box. I took a weekend to try to find pretty much everything that I'm using, so I'll make sure to link everything that I've used. But yeah, as you can see, I also put down some stone. I wanted it to show up on my map, but I didn't want it to be like a big cluster, so I'm just putting it down sparingly. And in between all of that, I'm also putting down this dirt pattern. This is the main path that I'm using on my island, but I'm using it sparingly to make it look as if the grass has been worn away. I'm also putting down another custom design on top of where I put the in-game pathing, just to add a little bit more texture and a little bit more variety. Sometimes I feel like if you use the same pattern over and over again, it just looks like a really big cluster and it kind of just becomes one. So I just wanted to put down some different, like a different brick design, so that way it just broke it up a little bit. And now I'm going in and adding in the left and the right pieces of this brick pattern to make it look like it's been worn away. I'm not too sure whether I'm going to keep this specific brick. I really like it, but I wanted something a little bit more worn out, so I might go hunting for another design, but for now this works, so I'm going to keep it. One of the fun things about doing a design like this is you can really experiment with all the pieces to make it look as worn out as you want, as sparse as you want, or as full as you want. For this specific area, I went with something that looked a lot more full, because I imagine that even though this area has been walked over heavily, it's still pretty much intact because of all the buildings that are there. So that's sort of the thought process I had behind this. I know that behind these trees you can't really see the codes that I'm using or putting down, but my ultimate fear is having something spawn there and me not realizing it and not being able to get it. So I just put it down there just to have it feel more complete just for myself. So now that I'm done with putting down the custom designs, I'm going in and starting to decorate. I found this really pretty Standee design that I wanted to incorporate into this build, so I'm putting it up in this corner. I figured that since there wasn't really anything behind it in the river that I'd put already, so I wasn't too fussed about covering that up. And my idea was making this specific stand into like a clothing stand, so they're selling like a bunch of like clothes and dresses, and some like accessories and all that sort of stuff. I really wanted to go with a theme for each stall, so that way it just adds to the feel. I also really wanted to use the Virgo harp, but you'll see it pop up throughout the video. I never ended up finding a place for it, but I thought it would have been perfect to add in this spot, but I just couldn't find anything. This pink stall that I'm decorating right now is going to be the clothing and accessories stall, because you always find them at the market. I'm also doing a fortune telling stall, a plant stall, and like a cafe, and each one decided to have its own sort of color scheme, because that's sort of like the charm when you go to the market. Each place has like its own different style and everything, so I wanted to try to emulate that in this build too. Also, I kind of knew what I wanted to do for this specific stall, the clothing one that I'm working on, but I was trying to figure out what to put in this corner, and I really liked how the fortune cookie cart looked in there, so I decided to go with that. And then when I was working on the fortune telling stall, it gave me such a hard time trying to figure it out, because I didn't want it to cover up the clothing store that's behind it, but I didn't want to put it off to the side, because then you couldn't see the stuff that's on the stall, and it was this whole ordeal. In the end, like, changed it up so many times because it was such an awkward spot. I had a little bit more of a hard time. Like, if you were to make street market or like a marketplace on your island, I would highly suggest making like a designated spot for it that's more sort of square or rectangle than this weird sort of oblong shape, but I decided to go this route for some reason. I also really wanted to use the fairy floss machine. Sorry, it's called cotton candy machine in the game, but for the most part in Australia, at least where I grew up, we always called it fairy floss, so I'm always tempted to say it, and I need to correct myself because it's not called that in the game. Anyways, one of the other things that I really struggled with was trying to get the flow of all the stalls nice. One of my biggest weaknesses whenever I'm designing my island is that I will make areas too cramped, and then I'll have item lag, and I didn't want to have that in this area. There is a little bit of a lag when you walk through it, but it's not a ton. In my old design of the island, I had a lot of item lag in one area of my island, and it was just really painful to play. So I really wanted to avoid that, but I also wanted it to look full. So I just did a lot of experimenting to try to figure out how to make it all flow nicely. It doesn't help that I'm building this in a bit of an awkward spot. Also, I thought it was really cute that we have a little dolly that's reading our fortunes. I thought it was a cute touch to add. I also decided to tweak the design of the clothing stall. I found the accessory stand, so I wanted to put that down there because I thought it fit in really nicely, and I put the doll on the stall. And I'm just experimenting. Like I mentioned, the fortune telling stall took a ton of experimenting for me to figure out what I wanted to do, so it's a little bit hard to sort of commentate on what I did because most of the time I'm just jumping from area to area. Normally I don't like doing that, but for this specific build, like, I had no choice because I had no idea what I was doing. Anyways, while little me is decorating the stalls and making some seating areas, I wanted to run an idea by you guys. So I was thinking of maybe starting to upload some Sims 4 content. I just wanted to know if any of you were interested in that. I've been playing Sims 4 for, I think, since 2019. Not a long time, but like, it's enough that it's one of my favorite games. And I wanted to start sharing some content with that, but I just wanted to have an idea of what you guys think of that. I really want to do the 100 baby challenge and maybe even a legacy challenge at some point. I also have some speed builds and stuff that I recorded this stuff like a while ago. I just have it sitting in my folder just like there, so I was thinking maybe uploading that too. So if you like that idea and would like to see some Sims 4 content, let me know. Either like the video or like leave a comment or something. I just want to like have an idea of what you guys think of that, but there's something I would really love to do. I also want to start playing Stardew Valley. I have attempted to play it before, but I didn't know what I was doing, and maybe it was just because I was playing it on the Switch version of it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I was thinking of maybe taking a take 2 on that and playing that for the first time again. So either one of those two, I just want to hear your opinions on that. But yeah, here when I'm making the cafe, I put two stalls back to back. You can see the stuff that's on the stall near the entrance, but you can't see anything on the second stall that's behind it. I only put that there just to fill up some space. I just needed some filler space. So yeah, that's why I did that. I'm also adding in a monstera tree in front of the stall's like legs, if that makes sense. I think it looks really cute like that. I like layering plants and stuff over the edge of the stall. I feel like it just adds a little bit more dimension. The last area for this build is going to be a little seating spot for the cafe area that's next to the water. I thought it'd be cute just to add a couple seats there, so that way my villagers can come enjoy the marketplace, take a little stroll, and then maybe have a cup of coffee or some cake or something next to the river and the little fairy houses that I've made. But yeah, so as you can see, like as I've been just sort of yapping away, I made sure that there was a lot of walking space between everything, and it just looks nice and full without it being too cluttered. Also, while my island theme is more on like the Fairycore side, I wanted to have more natural elements with the Fairycore colors breaking through, so that way it doesn't look like it's super duper bright, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but for the theme that I'm going for this island, I wanted to mix natural plus elegant with Fairycore. So that's sort of the vibe that I'm trying to have come across. After I build this little seating area and finish it up, I'm going to share with some really cool shots that I took of this build, as I normally do in my usual fashion. So please enjoy some of the shots that I took, and I'll see you near the end of the video. How cute is Barbara walking around the marketplace? I totally didn't plan for it, I promise, but it worked out really nicely, huh? Other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please let me know what your favorite part of it was. If you like speed builds, villager hunts, and let's plays and that sort of stuff, I would love it if you subscribe so you don't miss out on future uploads, and also make sure to leave a video a like. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!